All right, what's up? It is 1:40 p.m. ICT coming out of Chiang Mai, Thailand. Today it's 20 minutes before London Open. Just checking out the charts, seeing what we have for today, if there's any trades immediately that I would like to take or set some alerts and see what's going on. So let's get to it. Seeing what's going on here. Yeah, so we broke down pretty hard last night. I believe it was kind of like event-based. Still kind of in this major range. We could deviate it one more time. I feel like there's a lot of liquidity under here. So we could do a liquidity purge, but I think if we fall under 100K, we'd probably have a lot of buyers right now. So I think there'd be a lot of support around here. In fact, this would probably end up being a beautiful swing trade somewhere around here if we do come to that level. But more importantly for today, what can we get ourselves into? Been a bearish past 3 days. Now, I do want to point something out. I did put, we have a daily market structure protected low at around $93,000. So if we break that, that could be the line in the sand indicating a true bear market. Of course, we could also SFP it and have this large swing range, or it could end up being a more tighter swing range between 93 and 100, kind of like I think we had that in January. In fact, it's look back here. We had this November to January or November to February range. This little consolidation range. Now we have our more major range. Okay. Cool. All right, what do we got for today? We did break. Did we break 4-hour market structure? I don't think we did. No, we didn't. We certainly did not. So, as I was saying earlier, this like 4-hour internal market structure went bullish here. Now, what I was saying is like there's this internal market structure shift that you could have said that that's a protected low, and we took that out, and therefore we broke 4-hour market structure bearishly. But it's so internal that I don't like it that much. Plus, we're within this range. So, more so I like this, but we haven't broken it yet. So this isn't a protected low. I put protected low. But in a sense, you could base it off of that, but then it's not a protected low because we already broke what this would be a protected low. So we don't have any actual protected lows in the 4-hour. We did get the change of character here, you could say. Again, we're just within a range, so we could easily SFP this. So I'm actually going to go ahead and delete that. But I still will set an alert there for an SFP. So that could be good for, again, potentially like a swing trade somewhere within here. Now dialing in a little bit, we did come all the way. So from this last extension upwards, which is where I pulled my fib from, we came pretty much all the way down to the 786. Completely wicked into the golden pocket there. We had the previous ranges value area low also taken out. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. We are building some inefficiencies here. Massive inefficiencies. but I don't want to knife catch anything. As much of an explosive move upward that we could get, just like we have had downwards, I certainly do not want a knife catch, but so I'm just going to keep these as essentially POIs and reminders. See if I see anything else here of significance. Oh yeah, of course. 4 hour. Demand. There. What's happening over here? Okay, so what's happening right now? This is kind of looking like a nice bounce, to be honest. So here we had a fairly nice low, a really nice low actually. Like, wow, that's actually really nice. However, yeah, I think that's pretty decent. Going back into 15 minutes here, we do have this, like, say 10 minute. Yeah. We have kind of like a 10-minute protected low here. And then we came up above VWAP, came back down. We're kind of retesting it. And this is also at the lower part of the golden pocket, as well as, I believe, yeah, valley area low of the previous range here. In fact, what I'm going to do, let's pull an anchored volume profile. Let's say from here. Okay. In. Why don't we do it on the macro range? Just for the fun of it here. Yeah, so this could be a nice kind of retest. This could be an area of interest. Just kind of seeing here, what did we come down to? Yeah, we came to the 50% mitigation zone. Oh man, that could have been a nice long on the retest of the VWAP. Probably would have done something like that. This 5-minute market structure looked like. Could end up being a range as well, but you have London opening soon here, so could expect a little bit more volume. Yeah, some inefficiency here to fill. Demand to come back and mitigate potentially. Sorry, supply, I mean. And you could call that whole thing supply. 4963. Yeah, it could be like, I mean, this is a huge area. So I do want to see what happens when we tap into that kind of like 4-hour range initiated supply zone. But other than that, yeah, this could have been a nice long. For shorts, well, potentially from here, if we react from that. Probably not my favorite POI though yet. This could be a lot more interesting up here. So draw those out as potential POIs. It is at the very top of this fair value gap daily. But reclaiming that value or low could be bullish, but it also could be, you know, you could easily have a scalp short here for mitigation of the previous range initiated demand zone, depending on where we get and what price action looks like there. Yep, any major liquidity zones. Not really. Not much liquidity below us either, unless we get under 100K. So I'd be really interested in a potential long. We do have consumer sentiment tonight. We've got other worldwide events right now not looking so hot, but that could. I hate to say that sometimes when things are negative, but like that could give us a nice entry. All right. Yeah, this could have been really beautiful. Wow. Okay. Trying to see. Like, the thing is, I like ranges. And I'm not really seeing much of any kind of internal ranges other than if this ends up being one, but it's really tight. And I don't really like that too much. But what could end up happening is we form a range here at the lower portion of this downswing. So potentially like something like this. And if we come back to EQ, confirming the range, this could be like our major range, or not major, our internal range that we have for now. And that could happen all the way up maybe until New York. So it's about 6 hours and 35 minutes away. That could be a nice range to play. So if we come up here and I don't know, there's nothing really to SFP. There's no like, other than maybe this supply block. If we see a wick into there, close back within, and then a break in market structure, I guess, what would that look like here? So we were saying 10 minute looks pretty good. So 10 minute, what about 5 minutes? Hold on. 5 and 10 minutes. 5 minutes a little bit nicer, or at least cleaner. So yeah, if we got like a clean 5 minute break of structure and we could get something with a nice, so we SFP into here, we get something with a pretty nice risk to reward ratio, targeting potentially the low. I guess at that point, let's say EQ could be somewhere within here. That's not that great. You'd almost have to target the extreme. And at that point, there could be liquidity below here, but you'd be coming down to VWAP would probably be slightly higher. So you'd have to kind of ignore that, I guess. Yeah, that could be all right shorts. I don't know if I would really like it right now, just because of all the imbalances above us. So I think right now I prioritize long. So in fact, if we did, I don't think I'd play this as a range until it becomes an actual range on that point. So I'd be looking for, like I said, produce that higher high SFP. It would look really good if we SFP'd into here, so a wick, and then came back down at least to the EQ. And then now we know we have a range. Now, of course, I wouldn't play within the range at EQ. So I'd be looking for like more positions down at the extreme side of discount. So anywhere within here could be a potential for a long, especially, I guess it depends what happens with VWAP, but I guess VWAP will probably climb up if we come up there really quick. Another option is always the deviations of the range. So if we get an SFP below this low, potentially even coming into this order block here. What is this? This is a range initiated demand zone, I believe, or is this a 4 hour? Yeah, 4 hour order block. Okay. So range initiated demand zone as well as a 4 hour order block. Obviously, those things kind of go hand in hand usually. So an SFP of this low, and then its order flow objective could be to come and wick into this demand zone, essentially our support, and then close back in within the range and then see a bullish break of structure and then potentially along from there. Now, in this case, I wouldn't be looking at like a 1 or 2 minute break of structure. I think at least 3 or 5 minute is what I would be looking for. Something that looks really clean, especially if we see some trap traders, trap shorts below. So there could be a potential, like, again, we'd have to form the range. So like this is far from happening right now. But if we saw something like this, that could be pretty decent. I mean, even something like this could be all right, even if we're targeting extreme. So that's I would like to see that, but we're far from anything like that happening. As for any trades that I see happening right now, potentially a short from here, but I would be very hesitant to do so. This might be a day where I don't really see many options. I did have an all right long last night, took some profits and then moved stop to break even and got stopped out. So I just left it overnight. But for today, I think I only got like 2 trades this week. Both were profitable, but like they were both like TP1 and then stopped out type situations, so nothing significant. I think I made like 1.5% of my account this week, so it's not very great. Not very great at all. But I've been busy and I've been doing other things and whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. I guess I don't think we're gonna pump up high, and I don't think we're gonna break super low right now. So that can actually be a good time to trade alts. Let's see what Ethereum is doing. Oof, completely took that demand zone out. This could have been, oh. Yeah, no, this would have never worked. Start removing some of these old drawings here. All right. Zoom out here. This potential swing idea, which is, I think, just a deviation of the overall range that we have here. Let's do an anchored. Yeah, came the value area low. Okay, pretty much same situation as Bitcoin, it looks like, in a sense. Well, not really. It's a little bit more tighter. Certainly a lot more tighter. We kind of like, if you look at this from a 4-hour standpoint, what the hell did I draw this out on? What, a daily? Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the daily does close. Clean this up. An alert there. Oh. Range up. Yeah, so we came pretty much right to the 70 or to the extreme of the range. Yeah. Yeah, there could be still some pretty good swing action here for Ethereum. Into the 4-hour or 2-hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. It's pretty much the same thing as Bitcoin right now. Yeah, so nothing significant, but I do see potentially some good swing plays for Ethereum as well. But it'd be pretty much the same kind of trade as Bitcoin, which is fine. What about SUI? What is SUI doing? Oof. Hold on. Wait, what? This is probably another Max C issue again, isn't it? Oh yeah, negative 0 point. Okay, it's just I think I talked about this the other day. It's just Max C. I think that's API is just reporting like incorrect or invalid pricing information, and TradingView is not really handling that properly. So it's like marking as like a negative. Negative integer or something like that. Okay, but anyways, they usually clean this up within a day. Okay. This is all right of a range. We come back to the a wick into this, closing back within the range. Do I have alerts set on this? No. Okay. Yeah, this could be potentially also a nice area to long from. Targeting frames of the range. Hold on. Do you want to see where this golden pocket was drawn out from? The same kind of thing. An extension leg to the top. Yeah, so unlike Bitcoin, we haven't even come down to the on this last extension here, we didn't even come down to the golden pocket, whereas Bitcoin, we like dumped right through it. I mean, of course, ignoring this bullshit wick. We came all the way to like the 786 on Bitcoin, I believe it was. Yeah. So that's a good thing. That means that a lot of people aren't actually phased by what's going on with Bitcoin, and they're not dumping SUI, even though the percentages are pretty huge still. It's doing relatively well. Just generally speaking, even along from here to the highs would be a better ROI than Bitcoin, but also more riskier, of course. But that's also why you see like -7% instead of like -4 or -2%. Yeah, deviation of this range could be all right. Except it is still a pretty high, it's a high time frame range. I would say at least, I think it's a 2 hour. 2 hour looks pretty clean. So an SFP of this low could be good, but also, just want to see here. We call this area demand. Yeah, there could be some potential long opportunities if we break this. Bitcoin's doing relatively well, comes back down. It could be a nice area to long from potentially. Get rid of that. Oop. Huge imbalance. In fact, if Bitcoin starts breaking pretty good here, and we can stay above this VWAP, there could be a really good trade. Something like this. Maybe not. Maybe not the best risk to reward ratio because we did whatever this is here. Yeah. I mean, you could do, well, my plan with Bitcoin was something like this anyways. But you'd almost want a break in market structure and then a retest to be able to get on that. And if we break this, I don't know, we might just expand upwards really quickly. So you could look for like a lower time frame break structure bullishly. We might already have that. And there could be a pretty good play here. Even front run this a little bit. I guess we kind of got that 5-minute break of structure here. Bearish break, bullish. Yeah. There could be, this would be a little bit lower probability, but this could be all right. Definitely depends on what Bitcoin's doing though. Yeah, we didn't mitigate this, did we? No, yeah, there's some demand here. I'd be interested in seeing, like, if we come down to there and we got our 1-minute break of bear structure, and then if we react off of this area, yeah, I can see a pretty good long. Could be more of a scalp. Protect it a little bit more than that, actually. That's what you're coming for, but it's not the best, but if you can convert this into a swing, take out this entire, essentially a nice breakout, to take out this whole imbalance. That could be a really nice trade. The SUI's looking pretty good. If we can come back down to there and we get like some kind of confirmation, like come down and then get it'd be hard because you'd have to get a bullish break on like the 1 minute to enter this. So your risk reward might not be as good, but you could also consider just covering this low once you see that. So yeah, I'm gonna set an alert here, and just kind of see what we do there. But I think that's pretty much the only alt that I'm really interested in trading. Oof. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for now. London is open, and like I said, what I would like to see is just kind of like this range form, and then just trade the range as a range today until New York open. And then I think it's, what was it? An hour after, half an hour after, it's when I have consumer sentiment. So yeah, ranging until then would be really nice. And then after which, I'd probably wait until consumer sentiment before I enter any kind of trades. So yeah, I don't see anything too significant today unless this does end up being a major or an internal range. And if that's so, there could be some deviation plays to play. Other than that, just not much. If Bitcoin does continue to break upwards and somehow SUI makes one final push down during that movement, then that could be a good long, as I was saying. In fact, even if Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin doesn't take this low out, I'd be still interested in that SUI trade. So yeah, this one is based off of obviously higher time frame structure, because we broke that the 5 and 10 minute. And then also I'm just looking for this bearish structure to continue and then react off of this demand zone and then flip bullishly again. And then you could decide to potentially market or wait for a re-entry, retest, and then ride that to essentially the top of that 5 minute, 10 minute structure. Take some profits here, move stop, or at least move stop the break even. Definitely stop the break even, and then try to ride out the imbalance here all the way up to the previous day low, potentially front run it a little bit, leave some money on the table. But yeah, that's really it. That's all the trades that I've got today for an idea. Is really this one unfortunately was a little bit too late for, and the SUI trade would be interesting, and as well as this range. So yeah, maybe we'll make an update later tonight. If not, I'll be making one tomorrow prior to, actually no, tomorrow's Saturday, so I will not be doing that. So I guess I'll be doing Monday. Peace.